Hi.
Hi there.
What would be March?
Yes, and I know women in the house.
We have to wear green
Yeah. Oh,
for St. Patty's Day.
oh, that's right.
These guys are talking about color coordinating our meetings, so we
Okay.
blew it. We should have worn red or pink
Green next time.
today for
Red for
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
So next month is green for St. Patty's Day.
Okay, see you. Thank you.
Hi. Hello.
Yes, kitty.
Mr. Mayor, it's time.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Donald Hewitt,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tempore Margaret Morales,
Present.
Councilmember Mitch Lindemann,
Here.
Councilmember Dania Acosta. Here. Councilmember Ray Shelton.
Present.
Councilmember Michael Valdenegro.
Present.
Councilmember Jose Grijalva.
Here.
Interim City Manager, City Treasurer Luis Pedrosa. Acting City Attorney Donna Aversa. Miss Donna.
Are you still with us, Donna?
And Mr. Mayor, for the record, Mr. Pedrosa is here, present.
She's not on.
It's okay. We'll go for it. What's the Zoom?
Probably.
She'll join us in the executive session.
Yes.
Item number 4, discussion decision to call for and conduct an executive session under the authority of ARS 38-431.03 subsection A1 pertaining to the city manager recruitment process. May I have a motion to enter an executive session?
I make a motion, we enter into executive session to discuss said matter.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Shelton, seconded by Mrs. Morales to enter into executive session. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Lindemann,
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta,
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro,
Yes.
Councilmember Grijalva,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore Morales,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes. Motion passes. We'll move to executive session until we return. 5:17 p.m.
you can feel like people stay to coast during this pandemic. But
I don't know, I could be still forward, but you know, my son's still messing up, right? The state requires in-person tests, and so we gotta do baby steps to try and get.
you were loud and clear. You were loud and clear. Because actually my audio on my phone was bad. So I had to go back and listen to the tape on YouTube and you were fine. Yeah, yeah, but like I said,
Well, that's okay.
You should know that
teachers were
we have
pissed.
one, we voted
And
back
Ray,
today.
I called Ray today, he called me about something else, and I called him back, and he caught wind that the people were upset.
I check it every week.
Everybody voted in favor of going back to school.
So I was saying.
No,
that's.
But there's a state, there's a,
Well, Biden's not pushing this way, everybody can be flexible, the teachers
Oh, but
that
there's-
really
right.
have compromise.
there's also
Should be allowed to continue with what they're
a
doing.
bill introduced at the state level that will say that businesses don't have to enforce it.
Keep them home, they feel safe.
Yeah,
I said, it says it, the lead said
Face
it.
coverings.
so
That's
that's
the
gonna
option.
change our thing, yeah, right?
That will.
People
allow
skim the story, they
businesses
don't
to
read
do
the
it
story, they skim it.
Yeah.
what they
That's
think
money
is
for
right.
You're damned if you do, you're
And if you don't wanna, shop there, then you don't shop there.
Well, that's what Little's facing around now. If you don't
If
have
you
a
like it
system,
better, then
they don't have
you
the
probably
help,
shop
they're
there
more
more.
blasted, they don't have, nobody wants to stand up and help.
In small communities like ours, there's no choices.
I don't know, so anyway, I was just laughing, because I was thinking what you
don't,
doing,
I mean,
so.
if B and D
That
says
well.
no mask, and you think you need a mask, so you gotta drive to Home Depot or something?
Maybe especially on Facebook today.
What happened is, it became confrontational with the people. So the police were involved, and they said, well, it's up to the business to enforce it.
Right, so that's why they have that bill to say, the business shouldn't have to pay the cost.
Okay.
Back here. We'll reconvene at 5:48. Item 4.A, update on city manager recruitment process. Just like to inform everyone that we have received 20 applicants for the position of city manager, which is many more than what we initially anticipated. We will be looking at those that meet qualifications. We will have a paring down interview by myself and Vice Mayor Morales, and then make a recommendation for those that we want to interview as a full council. So that's the process that we will be using and taking right now. The names will not be released at this point in time of those that have applied. Item number 5, adjournment. May I have a motion?
I mean,
I move to adjourn.
second.
Motion by Mrs. Morales, second by Mr. Shelton to adjourn this special meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. We stand adjourned at 5:50.
Mr. Mayor, it's time.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. If you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for invocation. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This evening, we have the privilege of having Pastor Michelle Kelly of the Methodist Church to offer our invocation. Pastor Kelly.
Let's come together, heart, mind, and spirit, in an attitude of prayer. Gracious God, by whatever name we address you, you are still the great I am, creator of heaven and earth, maker of life. We offer our praise and thanksgiving for this community and for these people who serve it and work for it. This is the time and place appointed for these community servants to be about their work. We ask your guidance, your wisdom, that each decision made here will be for the greater benefit of the town and not for our own glory. Let us be mindful of the enormity of our decisions and give us the strength to stand positive in the face of opposition. We pray for those who are recovering from the ravages of the virus and for those whose lives have been impacted by the economic distress. Help us in good times and bad to trust in your grace and mercy. And lastly, we ask also for rest from our labors and your grace to sustain us through our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Keller. And if you wouldn't mind telling us a little bit about yourself and your ministry here in Douglas.
I think I've been in ministry for all my life. I've been a pastor for 30 years now, and I keep telling myself I'm going to retire, and God keeps saying, no, you're not. So here I am. I serve Grace United Methodist Church in Church Square, thanks to Phelps Dodge. We share it with the Baptists, the Episcopals, and the Presbyterians. And the four churches work together for the community. We support the shelters, the food banks, the high school. Whatever the community needs, we try to help in any way that we can. We've been closed we had been closed for about 6 months, and we've just recently reopened. And it is good to see so many people come out to church, even though church is being done a little bit differently now. Masks, social distancing, disinfecting everything that can be touched. But God has found a way to keep us going, and we are ever grateful. And we pray for our community every Sunday without fail, knowing that we are also part of the community.
Thank you, Pastor Keller. We truly appreciate your time and your willingness to pray for us and be a member of our community. Thank you. Item number 5, persons wishing to address the council in writing or verbally on any item not on the agenda.
Mr. Mayor, point of order, if we can proceed to number 4.
Oh, thank you. I checked it off and we'll go to roll call. Thank you.
Mayor Don Hewitt.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tempore Margaret Morales.
Present.
Councilmember Rich Lindemann.
Present.
Councilmember Dania Acosta.
Present.
Councilmember Ray Shelton.
Present.
Councilmember Michael Valdenegro.
Present.
Councilmember Jose Grijalva.
Here.
Interim City Manager / City Treasurer Luis Pedrosa.
Present.
Acting City Attorney Donna Aversa.
Present. Present.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Andrade. Item number 5, persons wishing to address the council in writing or verbally on any item not on the agenda. Do we have anybody this evening?
We do not have any public participation requests, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Item number 6, reading of Black History Month proclamation. I had the opportunity to issue a proclamation regarding Black History Month earlier in the month, and I'd like to read that into the record at this time. Whereas Black History Month is an annual opportunity to recognize the central role of African Americans in the history of our nation, and whereas during Black History Month we celebrate the many achievements and contributions of African Americans to our economic, cultural, spiritual, social, and political development, and whereas the national commemoration of Black history in the United States dates back to 1926 and was initially observed the second week of February to coincide with the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. And whereas by the late 1960s, the week had evolved into Black History Month, thanks in part to the Civil Rights Movement and a growing awareness of the experiences of African Americans in our country. And whereas Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. resolutely stated, "I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character." And whereas Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. astutely stated, "Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education." And whereas Black History Month was officially established in 1976 by President Gerald R. Ford, who called on the public to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every area of endeavor throughout our history, and has since been recognized by every U.S. president. And whereas the City of Douglas honors the significant contributions and advances made by African Americans in our community, our state, our nation, and throughout the world in such areas as education, medicine, art, culture, religion, public service, economic development, politics, and human rights. And whereas we see the greatness of America in those who have enriched our society. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Donald C. Hewish, Mayor, and on behalf of the Council, do hereby proclaim February 2021 as Black History Month, and urge all humanity to join in celebrating the contributions of African Americans. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Douglas to be affixed this 4th day of February 2021. Thank you very much for indulging me on that. Anyone else have anything to say on that item? Thank you. Item number 7, presentations of awards. Vice Mayor Margaret Morales will present some business awards at this time. Vice Mayor?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Continuing to recognize our businesses that have been here for many years. I have several awards receiving for 5, 10, 15, and 30 years. So I'll come down and probably maybe come up. So, for 5 years of outstanding service to the City of Douglas, I have the new Grand Cafe. Okay. Also for 5 years is Nat Sky Ink and Piercing.
It's also expanding.
You're expanding.
Yeah.
You're expanding business.
Metal fabrication, art gallery, no, but,
Tell us.
and clothing company. Could my family come up here to the?
Oh, yes, please.
Of course.
They're part of my team.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very well. Well deserved.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, my hair used to look like that.
Okay. Celebrating 10 years of service to the Dallas Community is MC Fitness Center, but they couldn't be here tonight, but I do want to recognize them. So congratulations to them. For 15 years, outstanding service to the City of Douglas, Pizzarama 2. Okay. And also for 15 years is Cato, number 1148, for 15 years. Okay. And for 30 years of service to this community is Arizona Primary Eye Care.
Thank you.
Okay, yes, and I do want to recognize for 30 years also Lai Lai Chinese Restaurant. And I know she couldn't be here tonight. And also for 30 years, Mi Ranchito Meat Market.
They started the business when they were in middle school.
Thank you. So congratulations. Thank you.
Mayor,
Yes, please, Mr. Grijalva.
I'd like to make 2 points here. I want to thank Mi Ranchito because they have the excellent cut of lamb that I keep bugging them for. And I'd also like to invite Mad Sky back because they're going to have a summer concert in their new place down here in G Avenue with a lot of local artists. So they're looking to get involved with the community. So I'm expecting Ronnie and his family to come back and invite us to that when that event happens.
You got it.
Thank you for mentioning that. And
Mayor?
we have some.
Mayor?
Yes, please.
Excuse me. Lucy from Arizona Primary Eye Care, she corrected me, and I know that they've been in business for actually 70 years.
Oh, yeah.
She's been working for them for 41 years, and I believe before it was Dr. Roberts and Roberts, so she has been with them
So she-
41 years.
And Edmund.
A business name change is all for this 30
Yes,
years. And she also started as she was a 5-year-old when she first went to work down there to help them out. Yeah, they've it's amazing. They've been part of this community, and we can't thank you enough for making Douglas your home and making us feel like home when we come see you and visit your business. So thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Move on to item number 8, discussion decision on approval of consent agenda items. A, approval of expenditures for the months of December 2020 totaling $2,522,538.82, and January 2021 totaling $3,440,501.60. B, approval of meeting minutes for December 9, 2020 and January 6, 2021. May I have a motion to approve?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Ms. Acosta.
I move to approve the consent agenda items as listed.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by, motion by Ms. Acosta, second by Mr. Grijalva to approve the consent agenda items as presented. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Lindemann,
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta,
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro,
Yes.
Councilmember Grijalva,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morales,
Yes.
Mr. Mr. Mayor?
Mayor votes yes, motion carries. And I do, for those that are visiting us, that came down for your awards, you're welcome to stay, but I understand that as business owners, you don't have much time. So please, you will not offend us at all if you need to leave at any time. Thank you. Item number 9, discussion decision on approval of city attorney/legal services contract award. Mr. Pedrosa.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, members of council. The city put out a request for qualifications bid for city attorney/legal services. We received 2 proposals back, one from Fitzgibbons Law Office, PLC, the second one from Gus Rosenfeld. City analyzed the bids and given the scoring criteria for the bid, recommending Fitzgibbons to be awarded the contract. Mayor and council gave direction to seek out contract attorney services to provide the legal necessities for city business. The bids, as I mentioned, yielded results favoring the Fitzgibbons Law Firm office. The raters for this particular review were myself, Alma Andrade, as well as Dawn Prince before she left. Worth mentioning that both firms met the qualifications, the expertise, and the experience requirements set forth. Both firms felt they had a good method of approach as well for our needs. And the one of the comments from the raters was that Gus Rosenfeld, lead attorney, did not have the municipal law experience within his practice areas as listed within the bid. Fitzgibbons provided an hourly rate for the attorney and the staff involved, while Gus Rosenfeld provided a fixed rate of $10,500 per month, plus additional fees for specific or special areas of practice. The hourly rate for the lead attorney for Fitzgibbon would be at $225 per hour, which, when comparing it to Gus Rosenfeld, equates to about 46 hours of services, basically equating the $10,500 mark. Our direction and idea moving forward, if the council so chooses to award Fitzgibbons, for us to monitor the usage every month for the next few months and compare that cost to a fixed rate option or an in-house option. As we know, every month can yield different circumstances, therefore requiring a different level of service. Therefore, we recommend at least a 6-month period of evaluation for us to really monitor if this is the best alternative that we can seek out. Another thing to point out, we checked Fitzgibbons references with other cities. The city of Coolidge and the city of Maricopa both gave us great references as far as their professionalism, responsiveness, innovative, and very competent in carrying out their duties. As well as our current attorney gave us a good review as far as her working with that law firm in other cases. With that said, I would answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Pedrosa. May I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mrs. Acosta.
I move that the mayor and council approve the contract award to Fitzgibbons Law Office, PLC, at the hourly rate and fees established for the attached proposal.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Acosta, second by Mr. Baldanegro to approve the contract award to Fitzgibbon Law Office. I'd also like to mention that I had the opportunity to speak with one of the principals there and felt very comfortable with him. and excited to be able to work with them. Any questions from the council?
Mayor, I have a question.
Yes, please, Mr. Lindeman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm just wondering, does Fitzgibbons, will they charge us a minimum? Because you mentioned that, legal services vary month. So is there a minimum that we require to pay, or is it just strictly hourly?
Mr. Lindeman, it's strictly hourly. There's no minimum. It's for whatever hours they put in.
Okay. Yeah, and I see that the numbers here, Fitzgibbons is actually more than Gus Roosevelt. I was just wondering if there's a specific reason why we were going to the higher bidder?
Again, based on the criteria, as far as what we think could be more favorable, as far as having more control of how much we use as opposed to paying a fixed rate of $10,500. We have the option to utilize as much as we need and pay for what we need. At this point, we know that we could potentially exceed a 46-hour level as well as come under that, which is why it's important that we monitor it on a monthly basis and make sure we're where we generally will be falling. So based on those circumstances and just having that control, as we set out on this new venture of contracting with city attorneys, we thought that would be the best method of going about it at this time.
If I may, one thing add to that, in looking over the actual responses, that 10.5 isn't shut at that level. If they need help from anywhere else, we would get billed for that extra help also. So please go ahead.
And I was just going to mention that I appreciate the fact that Fitzgibbons has municipal experience over Gus Roosevelt, who's more educational. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments?
And how much was that an hour? 125, is that correct?
225.
225, okay.
Lead attorney.
Okay, hearing no more discussion, roll call please.
Councilmember Lindemann,
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta,
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro,
Yes.
Councilmember Grijalva,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morales,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Mayor votes yes, motion carries. Item number 10, discussion decision on approval of third reading of ordinance number 20-1125. An ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the acceptance of donated unimproved real property from Mount Development LLC, identified as blocks 3 and 4, consisting of 82 lots in the La Parrilla Estates in the city of Douglas, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof. Mr. Pedrosa, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the third reading of the donation from MT Development for semi-improved real property. As the Mayor mentioned, 82 lots on blocks 3 and 29 lots on block 4 at La Perilla Estates. There is currently property back taxes of $8,624.50 owed, and approximately $92.90 is accruing per month basis. Basically, MT Development is no longer interested in developing the lots and wants to donate to the city. The city negotiated with Mr. Meehan on the back property taxes. Basically, MT agreed to pay $4,200 by relinquishing the waivers and impact fees that MT Development has on blocks 1 and 2. Therefore, the city would pay the entire amount and receive reimbursement of those impact fees totaling $4,200 when those properties in blocks 1 and 2 are developed. Just to know, blocks 3 and 4 are about 0.1 to 0.3 acres in size. Assessed valuation is about $5,000 per block, approximately $410,000 overall. The lots are semi-improved, as I mentioned, with some water and sewer services, as well as electrical and gas nearby. The city has already approached potential housing developers, and there is interest in building new homes in that location. There is, as I mentioned, those semi-improved lots has potential to attract those developers, which we know that there's housing stock inventory currently lacking within the city. So this is a economic development opportunity that we can pursue.
Thank you, Mr. Pedrosa. May I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Shelton.
I recommend that the mayor and council approve the third reading of ordinance number 2011-25 by number and title only.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Shelton, second by Mrs. Acosta to approve the third reading of ordinance number 20-1125 by number and title only. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Acosta,
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro.
Yes.
Councilmember Grijalva,
Yes.
Councilmember Lindemann,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore Morales,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor.
Mayor votes yes, motion carries. Ms. Andrade?
An ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the acceptance of donated unimproved real property from MT Developments LLC, identified as blocks 3 and 4, consisting of 82 lots in La Feria Estates in the city of Douglas, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof.
Thank you. Item number 11, discussion decision on approval of third reading of ordinance number 20-1126, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, amending Title 12 of the City of Douglas Municipal Code relating to light pollution by amending the table that appears in section 12.32.100, establishing severability of components of the ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof. Mr. Gardner, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. As this is the third reading, I'll be brief. This is a simple change to our light pollution ordinance to amend it to include modern technology of compact fluorescent and LED light bulbs, which are currently left up to staff discretion. This would simply take that interpretation and formalize it into law.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Mrs. Acosta?
I recommend that the mayor and council approve the third reading of ordinance number 20-1126 by number and title only.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Acosta, second by Mr. Shelton to approve the third reading of ordinance number 20-1126 by number and title only. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro,
Yes.
Councilmember Grijalva,
Yes.
Councilmember Lindemann,
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore Morales,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, motion carries.
An ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, amending Title 12 of the City of Douglas Municipal Code relating to light pollution by amending the table that appears in section 12.32.100, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof.
Thank you. Item number 12, discussion decision on approval of third reading of ordinance number 20-1127, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, partially reassigning duties of the Board of Adjustments to the Planning and Zoning Commission by amending ordinance number 352, 659, 702, 04-862, and 14-1034 as to Article 11 of the zoning regulations and amending ordinance number 700 and 35-881 as to Article 3 of the zoning regulations, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof. Mr. Gardner, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Again, this third reading, I'll be brief. This change would remove the power to issue conditional use permits from the Board of Adjustment to the Planning and Zoning Commission. This is in line with most jurisdictions and removes potential legal flaw in having the Board of Adjustments issue these permits.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mrs. Morales.
I think I'm going to do this motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Mrs. Acosta, please.
I recommend the mayor and council approve the third reading of ordinance number 20-1127 by number and title only.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Mrs. Acosta, second by Mr. Lindeman to approve the third reading of ordinance number 20-1127 by number and title only. Any discussion? Hearing, yes, please.
I just want to thank Mr. Gardner for putting in hours and putting us more or less in line with all the other communities on this subject. So, thank you.
We echo that. Any other discussion or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Valdenegro,
Yes.
Councilmember Grijalva,
Yes.
Councilmember Lindemann,
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta,
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore Morales,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, motion carries.
an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, partially reassigning duties of the Board of Adjustments to the Planning and Zoning Commission by amending ordinance number 352, 659, 702, 04-862, and 14-1034 as to Article 11 of the zoning regulations and amending ordinance number 735-881 as to Article 3 of the zoning regulations, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof.
Thank you. Item number 13, discussion decision on approval of second reading of ordinance number 21-1128, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the implementation of Proposition 207, recreational marijuana, and amending Article 5 of the Planning and Zoning Code relating to the regulation of recreational marijuana, establishing a purpose, setting forth definitions, prohibiting marijuana on public property, establishing regulations for personal use at an individual's primary residence, authorizing retail sales for marijuana and marijuana products, imposing license fees, setting forth violations, and providing for enforcement and penalties in the city of Douglas, establishing severability of components of ordinance, and establishing an effective date thereof. Mr. Gardner, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. We went over this in detail at the previous reading, but I do just want to do a quick rehash. This is to establish the land use law on recreational and dual use marijuana dispensaries. And what we're requesting to do is take them from the currently permitted use with a variety of setbacks to a conditional use requiring approval by now the Planning and Zoning Commission with those same setbacks. We do have two changes from the previous reading that we'd like to highlight. The first is change to the setbacks, and that is we would like to add that 1,000-foot setback that currently stands from churches, schools, libraries, daycares, and parks. We'd like to add residences to that list. A little background on this. For those of you who don't know, I live in Bisbee. I live around the corner from the medical marijuana dispensary there that is now dual use as well. And since it's become dual use, I've never seen not a line. Anywhere from 8 to 30 people out front. Cars are parked up and down the highway. And if we're in an area here, say on 10th Street, where it was close to a residence, I can just see that spillover of vehicles, people waiting in line, because dispensaries are only permitted to have one party in at a time, so you can get some significant lines. So we want to protect the residences from those impacts. They're very different than having, say, a convenience store where you pull in, you park, you get out, you go inside, you get your stuff, and you leave. You get that build up, and that's what we want to protect residential areas. So that's the first change, is we do want to add that additional item to the setbacks. The other pertains to Mrs. Acosta's question last time about the language about odor, vibrations, vapors, and it wasn't really clearly how it was worded, but it was the intent, because this is a land use law, that pertains to pervasive recurring. So it pertains to, and I added some language to clarify, that's if folks are growing, processing, or manufacturing. We really don't have any authority to stop them from the consumption on their property. But if you're growing and that smell is pervasive, and it'll smell all the time, and it's bothering the neighbors, this does give us a tool to rectify that for the neighbors. So those are the two big changes from last time, or the two only changes from last time we'd like to make.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mrs. Costa?
I recommend that the mayor and council approve the second reading of ordinance number 21-1128 and to place it on third reading by number and title only with modifications as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Costa, second by Mr. Bolanegro, to approve the second reading of ordinance number 21-1128 and to place it on third reading by number and title only with modifications as presented. Any questions or comments?
Mayor,
Yes, please, Mr. Reno.
Mr. Gardner, I think that you remember reading that the state had issued quite a few licenses already. Did any of those affect our area?
No, what they have issued so far is what they call a dual use license, which allows a existing medical dispensary to also sell recreationally, and there were 71 of those issued, almost entirely in Pima and Maricopa County, but the one in Bisbee did receive one, which is why, again, I've seen those lines every day. I had to go home early yesterday, and at 3 o'clock on Tuesday, there were 8 parties waiting in line, and that's the shortest I've ever seen that line.
Is the state going to issue any more licenses, do you know?
They will be. There's still the upcoming lottery for the recreational licensing. It would be one per county. So that could end up anywhere in the county. Different jurisdictions are handling it differently, but it could end up anywhere. I've personally handled 7 requests so far tied to individual buildings. So that's 7 potential applications here in Douglas so far. I can't speak to how many they've received in Bisbee, Sierra Vista, but I'm sure it's quite a few. Bisbee is very accommodating.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor?
Yes, please, Mr. Grajales.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to thank you, Mr. Garner, from especially last meeting, because I've gotten feedback that even though people are against using it, they're very encouraged by the process that we're making, your work and administration's work, where it's already legalized, but this helps us control the situation where you mentioned before, if this doesn't pass, somebody can set, a medicinal one in the neighborhood to Mayor Hewish's concerns there. So you helped that out. So I just want to thank you for sort of calming down our community and really laying out in a way that we all understand it, where there's no confusion. So thank you for the staff and also for council for their input, and the mayor also for his concern for our community.
Thank you, Mr. Grajales. Anyone else? And just a reminder, folks, we'll probably be revisiting this over the year as the regulations get developed at the state level on how that filters down and affect us. But again, this somewhat funnels in where this can happen in our community. So I appreciate that. Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Grijalva?
Yes.
Councilmember Lindemann?
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta?
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton?
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, motion carries.
An ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the implementation of Proposition 207 recreational marijuana and amending Article 5 of the Planning and Zoning Code relating to the regulation of recreational marijuana, establishing a purpose, setting forth definitions, prohibiting marijuana on public property, establishing regulations for personal use at an individual's primary residence, authorizing retail sales for marijuana and marijuana products, imposing license fees, setting forth violations, and providing for enforcement and penalties in the city of Douglas, establishing severability and compliance of ordinance, and establishing an effective date thereof.
Thank you. Item number 14, I will be declaring a conflict of interest as this deals with a company that my son works for. And I'll turn the chair over to our Vice Mayor, Mrs. Morales.
Thank you, Mayor. Please note, Mayor excused himself at 6:39. Item number 14 is discussion, decision on approval of first reading of ordinance number 21-1129, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, modifying Title VI of the Douglas Municipal Code relating to animals by amending ordinance  pertaining to cremation service fees under Chapter 6.04 establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof. Chief Fuller?
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and members of the council. The Douglas Animal Shelter has been providing animal cremation services to Douglas and the surrounding community since we entered into an agreement back in 2013 with then Ames Diversified Services. That agreement and the fee scale that was established at that time has remained in effect and unchanged. At the beginning of this year, in January, we received notice from the name change company, I will say, Lasting Pause Pet Memorial Services, of a modification or an update to their weight class and associated fees. And as a result, we are recommending that we mirror the recommendation or mirror the fee scale and associated fees to mirror those. And the fees are increasing at a range from $3 to $6 for each of the affected weight classes. Staff is recommending that we do this modification to, again, mirror the fees as established by our provider and as well to maintain our revenue steady.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the placement?
Yes, I make a motion that the mayor and council approve the placement of ordinance number 21-1129 on its first reading by number and title only.
Second?
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Shelton and a second by Councilmember Acosta. Any discussion?
Mayor Pro Tem,
Mr. Lindemann?
I was just wondering, do our fee increase reflect costs or merely to keep our revenue stream?
The increase, Mr. Lindemann, was to reflect that increase on that range from $3 to $6. So that's the extent of the update that we did to our own fee scale.
So that in fact is from
To offset our costs.
the providers are charging that to us. Okay,
That is correct.
thank you.
Anyone else have?
I just wanted to point out that I did ask about the program for the cadaver studies that I think we participate with one of the, I don't know, company, university or something like that. And I just wanted to point out that that's still being done with the qualifying cadavers, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct.
Thank you. Anyone else? No further discussion. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Lindemann,
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta,
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro,
Yes.
Councilmember Grijalva,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore Morales.
Yes.
An ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, modifying Title VI of the Douglas Municipal Code relating to animals by amending ordinance 14-1038 pertaining to cremation service fees under Chapter 6.04, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof.
All right. May I have a motion to approve the first reading?
For the second.
Mayor Pro
Ms.
Tem?
Morales?
Yeah.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
I would like to make the motion that the mayor and council approve the first reading of ordinance number 21-1129 and place it on second reading by number and title only.
Have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Grijalva with a second by Councilmember Shelton. Any further discussion? No further discussion. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Lindemann,
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta,
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro,
Yes.
Councilmember Grijalva,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore Morales.
Yes.
An ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, modifying Title VI of the Douglas Municipal Code relating to animals by amending ordinance 14-1038 pertaining to cremation service fees under Chapter 6.04, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof.
Please note that Mayor Lewis returned at 6:45 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Morales. Item number 15, discussion decision on approval of resolution number 21-1450, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the city of Douglas to accept grant funding and enter into a sub-grantee agreement with the state of Arizona Department of Homeland Security for a reimbursable grant fund allocation in the amount of $645,602 for personnel overtime and mileage cost under Operation Stone Garden for fiscal year 2020 allocation grant program. Chief Fullen?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. This is an annual grant submitted to the Arizona Department of Homeland Security as part of consideration for their federal fiscal year 2020 Operation Stone Garden grant program cycle. The performance period for this grant is January 1, 2021 through March 31, 2022. And as stated, the funds will be used for personnel overtime and mileage that we accrue in support of Border Patrol and their mission, which is to target specific routes of egress that could potentially be used by criminal organizations to smuggle terrorist weapons of mass destruction and other contraband into the United States from Mexico. We have participated in this operation with Border Patrol and the Department of Homeland Security for a number of years, beginning with its inception, and have received all reimbursements in full. And we are asking that Mayor and Council approve.
Thank you, Chief. May I have a motion?
Mayor.
Mr.
Mayor,
Mr. Valdenegro?
That the mayor and council approve resolution number 21-1450.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Valdenegro, second by Mr. Shelton to approve resolution number 21-1450. Any discussion?
Yes.
Yes, please, Mr. Shelton.
Okay, over the past years, do we use all of this money?
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Shelton, we use the majority of the funding. In the last couple of years, we've had the occasion to have that money, or we've had to request an extension in order to expend the full amount of the funds. But yes, they have been expended in full.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shelton. Any other questions or comments?
Mr. Mayor, I don't
Yes,
know
please,
if
Ms. Costa.
If I need to accuse myself from this, did we find out?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we've established this practice in the past before, so I think we should exercise that once again and revisit that in the future.
Did we step out?
Let the record show that Ms. Acosta recused herself from voting upon this item and participating in any discussion. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Lindemann,
yes.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro,
Yes.
Councilmember Grijalva,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morales,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, motion carries. Item number 16, discussion decision on approval of resolution number 21-1451, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Arizona, Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the city of Douglas to accept grant funding and enter into a sub-grantee agreement with the State of Arizona Department of Homeland Security for a reimbursable grant fund allocation in the amount of $13,148 for equipment under Operation Stone Garden fiscal year 2020 allocation grant program. Chief, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. This is a second grant within the same federal fiscal year under Operation Stone Garden. This one is specific to equipment. This grant cycle runs the same, January 1, 2021 through March 31, 2022. As part of the proposal the department was selected to receive the following equipment: two tire deflation devices, 2 permanent mount radar units with dual antennas, 5 game cameras with security box LTE service, as well as the LTE service for these game cameras. This equipment will be used to support the Border Patrol mission and the mission of Stone Garden in focusing on criminal organizations operating in our community.
Thank you.
We are requesting that you approve.
Thank you. Let the record show also that Mrs. Acosta has recused herself from participating in discussion and voting on this item also due to a conflict of interest. Any questions? Or no, I'm sorry, may I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Valdenegro.
let the mayor and council approve resolution number 21-1451.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Valdenegro, second by Mrs. Morales to approve resolution number 21-1451. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call please.
Councilmember Lindemann,
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro.
Yes.
Councilmember Grijalva,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morales.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, motion carries. Thank you, Chief. Item number 17, discussion decision on approval of resolution number 21-1452, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the entry into an intergovernmental agreement with the city of Bisbee to provide public transit services through the established Douglas Transit Program, authorizing the taking of all other actions necessary to the consummation of the transactions contemplated by this resolution. Mr. Pedrosa, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The city of Douglas has provided services to the city of Bisbee since 2015. We have provided the services of running their bus system known as the Bisbee Bus. Within that time frame, it was on our contract basis. That contract is now expired, and ADOT gave us the clearance to establish those same terms and conditions through an intergovernmental agreement. Both cities are happy with the mutual relationship provided. Therefore, City of Bisbee submitted theirs to council already and have been approved. And for your consideration is this approval. Just as a note, the city charges $209,271 to provide this service to the city of Bisbee, and again was approved by ADOT and their regulations that are imposed by with the 5311 grant.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mrs. Costa.
I recommend that the mayor and council approve resolution number 21-1452.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Acosta, second by Mr. Valdenegro to approve resolution number 21-1452. Any questions or comments? Yes, please, Mr. Lindemann.
This has always been a very good thing for our community, and I'm glad to see that it continue. And thank you very much, Mr. Pedrosa.
Thank you, Mr. Lindemann. Any other questions, comments? Just one question, which is probably stating the obvious. This covers our cost for this operation.
That's correct, Mayor. It covers our costs that we incur as far as hiring the employees and the management oversight that it takes.
Excellent. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Lindemann,
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta,
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro,
Yes.
Councilmember Grijalva,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morales.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, motion carries. Item number 18, city manager reports. Do you have any reports, Mr. Pedrosa?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, 3 reports this evening. Real quick, we wanted to provide an update as to our AMI project. This is something that we presented to the council a few months ago. The AMI project set out to replace all manual read water meters to automated read. The benefits of an AMI is that it relieves staff from manually reading meters, that normally took around 7 to 10 days with 4 staff. We can now also alert our customers on possible water leaks and also provide the city with more accurate readings. To date, we have installed 6,221 meters throughout the city and surrounding areas, and we have only 32 meters left to install, which are the larger meters and hydrant meters. So we are about 99.95% complete. Our second report has to do with Southwest Valley Construction.
Before you move on, Mr. Pedrosa, did you give us a number of how many potential leaks that we've been able to catch and be able to inform our property owners?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. We receive those alerts on a daily basis. They can range from anywhere from 5 to 15 alerts every day, which we take the necessary steps to either put door knockers on those properties, alerting them that there could be a possible leak, and to check their facilities such as toilets, coolers, and things like that to see for that potential leak.
Thank you.
Our second report is regarding the Southwest Valley Constructors, also known as the border wall contractors here. They have started to wind down their work in Douglas. We were informed that their work has been suspended, and 90% of their workforce has been instructed to head home at this time. We were told that there is some work left pending, which included about a 1 mile of wall construction and security features such as lighting and road construction that were pending. There is an opportunity that they could be called to finish some of that work, but it is uncertain at this time. What we were told is that they expect to leave here completely around April 1st.
And that's provided that they don't get a call back, because you used the word suspended.
Correct.
That's what they've been told.
That's what they've been told. That's the official designation they've been given at this time.
Suspended.
Right. The other third and final report, everybody in the council received the 2020 year in review. This is this nice looking document, which by the way, I like the picture. It's really a nice looking picture or aerial of our community. Staff has finalized the 2020 year in review. The document contains the exciting projects and partnerships achieved during a very challenging 2020, as we all know. The projects here listed are categorized in accordance to our 5 focus areas within our strategic plan. So basically all those goals accomplished within those 5 focus areas are categorized nicely there. As I mentioned, the copy is provided today, but we've also already published it on our website and social media to follow, making all of our citizens aware of this report.
Thank you, Mr. Pedrosa, and I believe Mr. Dorame took the lead on putting this together.
Yes, he did. Mr. Dorame definitely took the lead on that with some support from other staff, so I commend him for all his work on this project.
And I'm not sure if it's been sent out electronically to the council in case they would like to forward it on to any of their contacts.
We will be sure to do that, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Item number 19, informational items and reports from council and future agenda item request. Mr. Grijalva.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to mention that tomorrow is Commodities Day for the food bank. Last month and this month they moved basically everything on for Thursdays. I can't speak for Raul, who's the head of the food bank, but a lot of that movement has been because of the LDS missionaries. They can't help out on Mondays, so they've been helping out on Thursdays. So I'd be guessing that's the reason why. I'd also like to invite the public for the ribbon cutting for the movie screen and also the Trolls movie this Friday. There's a limit for the first 75 cars. The doors are going to open at 5:45 for the 7 p.m. start. But I'd like the public to join us at 6:30 for the ribbon cutting. I think it's a big event, especially with the excitement that's around the movie screen and how well it can be used for different occasions. I'd like to thank Jennifer for her work, Joel also, who helped out with, from IT, who helped out with the process too, and IDA, of course, for their donation. I'd also like to thank La Familia. I was walking around passing the flyer for the movie, and I stopped by and left them a flyer. And they were so excited for the movie, they asked, "Are you guys going to do anything for Easter?" So Laura, the owner, when I said, probably, we want to keep the public, entertained, have something to do, she donated a box of goodies for Easter. So I want to thank her, and she said that she will be looking to donate in the future. So those are the things, especially during this pandemic where our businesses are suffering, having a good heart like theirs and donating for the community and our youth, it's much appreciated. So I want to thank her and thank La Familia. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Grau. And just a point of clarification, that's Trolls 2, right?
Yes.
I had the pleasure of watching that. It was good and loud. So get ready, it is cute.
Mayor, I'd also like to mention that just as a disclaimer that pending weather conditions as well. Obviously, we're monitoring those. If it's too windy, we will not be able to do it, but we're hoping that it will be favorable.
Looks okay right now. Thank you. Anybody else on the council?
Mr.
Yes,
Mayor?
Ms. Costa, please, and then Mr. Shelton.
Yes, I have just an announcement for, we have a local citizen who just started working with the American Heart Association, and having some talks with her, we're hoping to bring some very exciting things to Douglas in conjunction with the American Heart Association. Also this Saturday, in line with that, is the Southern Arizona Heart Ball. It's a digital 1 hour long experience because of COVID this year. It's usually a gala, but if people could just sign up, it's free to register and just bring some, trying to bring some information to everybody, and especially to women, that heart disease is probably one of the most serious conditions that women face that we don't pay attention enough. So I will be sharing that on my Facebook page and forwarding it out to everyone else to share.
Thank you, Ms. Costa. Mr. Shelton, please.
I would like, and this is because of several citizens and myself wondering, I want to see where we're at on the wall. We have somebody back in Washington trying to help out. We have the other guy from Phoenix trying to help out. But I want to know where we're standing right now with the wall, not only with our U.S. government, but with the country of Mexico. I really think we need to, all of us sitting up here need to look at and see what's going on and make sure our money is being spent wisely and what our chances are of this coming about. Because a year ago things were looking real good, just like about 12 years ago when everything else happened with the economy and everything, it sort of went on bye-bye. So that's something I think maybe we should have a meeting about, special meeting too. So that's my major thought right now is where are we standing?
Thank you, Mr. Shelton. Mr. Velosa, if you can get with Mr. Shelton to get it clarified on what we can do, and then we'll reach out and see what we can find. Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you. Item number 20. I also like to, I should have expressed my gratitude for those that are in attendance today in the crowd, especially that young man in the back row. It's under camouflage. I almost didn't see you there. It is great to see you out here, and also for all you at home that are joining us for these meetings. We appreciate it. Hang in there. we're gonna get through this. Item number 20, adjournment. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Ms. Morales.
I move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Morales, second by Mr. Shelton to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by nay? Hearing none, motion carries. We stand adjourned at 7:05.